Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. As I mentioned, right, on the day of Qiyamah, وَجِيَ بِالنَّبِيِّينَ Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam will come. Your Kiram and Katibin will come. The Lawhul Mahfuz will be there, right? Your own limbs will testify against you or for you, right? And most importantly, Allah says, "Iqra kitabak." Read your own book. كَفَى بِنَفْسِكَ الْيَوْمَ عَلَيْكَ حَسِيبًا. It's enough for you, right, to make your own hisab kitab in terms of what you've done. And you've got to ask yourself, did I do all these things here? And it's an open record. So there are 5 fail-safes which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His infinite wisdom has presented there in order to ensure that under no circumstances whatsoever any human being can complain about any type of dhulm from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Out of the question. And nor can you find an excuse in terms of what you have done. Anyway, that's besides the point. We'll discuss that next week in detail, inshallah ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it very clear here that no dhulm will take place. Now that we are on the plains of mahshar, what's going to happen next? Right? Remember, for the kuffar and the mushrikeen and the sinners and whatever it is, right? It will be a long process simply because they're going to have to go through a great deal of difficulties and whatever it is. Right? Let me read the hadith. So it's a very long hadith, right? The Holy Prophet ﷺ stated, this is a hadith which is narrated by Imam Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala, is narrated in Sahih Muslim, is narrated in Sahih Al-Bukhari, right? If I'm not mistaken, it's a muttafaq alayh hadith as well. I'm just giving you one narration. There are many narrations of this hadith here to show you the importance of it. Some of it has been narrated by Anas bin Malik radiallahu ta'ala anhu, where people specifically with a Thabit Bunani radiallahu ta'ala, Thabit Bunani radiallahu ta'ala anhu, also came and asked Anas bin Malik. Anas bin Malik was the personal attendant of the Prophet ﷺ, and they came and inquired from the Prophet ﷺ regarding this hadith. From Anas bin Malik regarding the hadith of the resurrection. Now I'm giving you a more of a detailed hadith there, which is narrated in Sahih Muslim, and it is narrated there that Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu reports, I'm narrating to you the one from Sahih Muslim, that meat was one day brought to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and a foreleg was offered to him, a part of which he liked. Foreleg would be the shoulder, right? Meat was offered. Some say mutton, right? But from in my knowledge, I don't think mutton is available in Medina. I think it's more goat, right? Unless they got, I don't think they got sheep in Medina. No. This definitely was foreleg. I think it was shoulder of lamb, because the other hadiths also narrate the Prophet particularly likes shoulder of lamb, okay, and a particular part of the shoulder. So that they don't tell you exactly, but they tell you shoulder of lamb. So for any kasais around, maybe they can give us the best part of the best end of the foreleg or whatever it is there, right? Okay. Well, a foreleg was offered to the Prophet, a part of which he liked. He sliced with his teeth a piece out of it and said, "I shall be the leader of mankind on the day of resurrection." Right? On the day of Qiyamah, I will be the leader of mankind. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will gather in one plane the earlier and the later of the human race on the day of resurrection. Here the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is telling you, on the day of Qiyamah, when every single human being, from Adam alayhi salatu wasalam till the last person on planet Earth to have died, at the day of the blowing of the trumpet, when every one of them are present in their billions, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam stated there, he said, "Ana sayyidun nasi yawmal qiyamah." I am the leader of mankind. Sayyidun nas. I am the leader of mankind on the day of Qiyamah. That in terms of the billions of human beings there, the Prophet ﷺ is telling you, I am the leader of mankind. Straight. And in another hadith of Tirmidhi, he said, "Wala fakhr." And I don't say this out of pride. I'm stating it as a matter of fact. Okay? Then the Prophet ﷺ stated, he said, "Then the voice of the proclaimer will be heard by all of them, and the eyesight would penetrate through all of them, and the sun would come near." Exactly what I was trying to explain to you now, that the earth in that place where people will be resurrected will be a flat plane. So when the caller calls out and he proclaims, and everyone can see where they are, as far as the eye can see, right? People will be on one plane, so it's not that one person hidden in one valley that he doesn't know what's going on. Everyone will be on the same plane, level playing field, so to speak, okay? Then the Prophet ﷺ said, then the voice of the proclaimer will be heard by all of them, and the eyesight will penetrate through all of them, and the sun will come near. People will then experience a degree of anguish, anxiety, and agony, which they shall not be able to bear, and they shall not be able to stand. Right? And in another hadith, I'm just giving this also a narration of Sahih Muslim, right? The Rawi says, the Prophet ﷺ stated that people will start to suffer under the heat of the sun, and they won't be able to take the heat that is there, right? To a point where some people will be drowning in the perspiration up to their ankles, and some of them up to their knees, and some of them up to their necks in perspiration, right? You'll wonder, but how is that possible? Simple, right? Different areas have different climates, right? The climate of India, right, is far hotter than the climate of South Africa. The climate in Makkah is far hotter than. So just purely as an earthly example, don't think that how is there one guy is, like he's suffering, like, I go to Durban, our humidity kills you. You go to Cape Town, you feel cold even in summer. Not because people give you a cold shoulder, but I mean, okay. All the Cape Townians are listening, so I've got to give them a bit of a hard time. Right? They will not be able to stand. Some people would say to the others, do you not see in which trouble you are? Don't you see what misfortune has overtaken you? Why don't you find one who should intercede for you with your Lord? So, on the day of Qiyamah, and in the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ, Quran, let's go to Quran. In that condition that the Holy Prophet ﷺ is speaking about, that people will find themselves in a state of degree of anguish, anxiety, and agony, which they will not be able to bear. What will be that anguish, anxiety, and agony? You are standing there on the plane of resurrection. You are now aware that you are going to be held and taken to account for your deeds. What are you going to do? What will happen in between here? Quran gives you an idea of what's going to happen in between. When the people come there and say, don't you see what is going on there? Right? In which trouble, how much of trouble you are? Don't you see we should find someone to intercede for us? You know what's going to happen? A person is going to go by his mother. A person will go by his father. A person will go by his or her brother. Quran says, يَوْمَ يَفِرُّ الْمَرْءُ مِنْ أَخِيهِ. On the day of Qiyamah, when you see people that you know, a man will see his own brother and he will run away, he'll ignore him, go away. He'll flee from him. وَأُمِّهِ وَأَبِيهِ. And a person will run away from his mother and his father. وَصَاحِبَتِهِ وَبَنِيهِ. And a person will run away from his or her spouse and his or her children. Now I want to show you how serious this matter is. These are the closest relations that you and I possibly could have on planet Earth. Meaning, blood relations. Brothers, wives, fathers, mothers, children. We've loved our parents, we've loved our children, and etc., and we loved our brothers and our siblings and whatever it is there. On the day of Qiyamah, your degree of anxiety is going to be so great that you won't ignore them, you will literally run away from them. Your mother will tell you on that day, I can't help you in this day, forget about it. Go away, nafsi, nafsi. Myself. Everyone is interested in themselves. When that condition remains, Quran says, Al-akhillau yawmaidhin ba'duhum li ba'din adu. Close bosom friends. See, Quran is giving you the degrees of relationship that you have. One are blood relations, and these are the closest relations, right? Your brothers, your mother, your father, right? Your children, your spouses. You're running away from them. Quran says on the day of Qiyamah, Al-akhillau yawmaidhin ba'duhum li ba'din adu. Close friends on the day of Qiyamah, bosom friends who share everything, BFFs or whatever it's called, right? All of them will become enemies on the day of Qiyamah. So if you're running away from your family, right, and you're ignoring them and you won't have to have nothing to do with them, one relationship which is beyond family, which is not blood, but it is personal relationship, their Quran says, Al-akhillau yawmaidhin ba'duhum li ba'din adu. You'll become enemies with your friends. So all relationships will sour on the day of Qiyamah. And the day of Qiyamah, يَوْمَ لَا يَنْفَعُ مَالٌ وَلَا بَنُونَ. On the day of Qiyamah, when your accountability is taking place there, you can't bribe your way out of the condition that you find yourself in. Your wealth will not benefit you, nor will your children benefit you. So when the Holy Prophet ﷺ is speaking about this one, he's expecting you to know that he's alluding to these incidents which will occur, which are already mentioned in the Holy Quran. So you got to know the hadith in the context of the Quran, and sometimes the Quran in the context of the hadith. I was informed on Saturday, and it gave me a bit of I've been aware of it. Right? Today you got people who are Quran only. And it's a big movement which has now been established, or which is now taking root amongst the academia and the intelligentsia. People, who have degrees, right? BAs and MAs and MADs, right? And then they become BADs, right? And eventually become PAADs, yes, right? Quran only. So the youngster was saying, I'm quite impressed, he's telling me, with these people who are Quran only. I said, okay, what's so impressive about them? No, they reject hadith, and they don't find any authenticity of hadith, etc., 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 etc. I said, oh, very good. I said, 3 points. Really, it's a major movement in Johannesburg, right? And it's gaining, quite a bit of exposure here, gaining some ground here in Durban as well. And it's generally, attracting the academia and intelligentsia who feel that by them reading the Holy Quran, right, with various translations, so you take the best out of all the translations put together and you cross-reference, and what they do is that they go onto the internet, they go to one website there which has the base word of a verse of a word of the Holy Quran, and they find all the multiple shades of meaning in it there, and they cut and paste, right, and they bring meaning and give interpretation to the verse of the Holy Quran. So according to this young man, these people pray 3 times a day. Now, I'm not joking with you, they pray 3 times a day. Because the Quran only speaks about 3 salats in the Holy Quran. Right? أَقِمْ صَلَاةِ لِدُلُوكِ الشَّمْسِ إِلَىٰ غَسَقِ اللَّيْلِ وَالصَّلَاةِ الْوُسْطَى. Right? So basically they're telling you these are the middle prayer, right? The evening prayer and the morning prayer. Those are the 3 prayers. The rest of them, the Quran doesn't speak about this, so don't worry about it. Oh, and wal asr. But they've got their own version of wal asr. Wal asr is the middle prayer, so they say wal asr. 3. Trust me, 3. Right? So I told the young man, and I want to bring this to your attention again. I told this young man, I said, very good, tell them then if you want to follow Quran only, then you've got to follow Quran only, because the Quran, then you're contradicting yourself. The Quran says, وَمَا أَتَاكُمُ الرَّسُولُ فَخُذُوهُ. Whatever the Prophet of Allah gives you, take it. وَمَا نَهَاكُمْ عَنْهُ فَانْتَهُوا. And from which he prohibits you, stay away from it. Where are you going to get that from? Where are you going to get that from? مَنْ يُطِعِ الرَّسُولُ فَقَدْ عَطَاعَ اللَّهِ. Whosoever obeys the Prophet of Allah, obeys Allah. Where are you going to get that from? Where are you going to get that from? Then I told him, okay, hold on a minute. Take the Quran itself, exclude all the verses wherein the Prophet of Allah is directly mentioned. Because that doesn't affect you. Because you're going to refer to him. Right? Take all those verses out. Take all those verses out. All those verses there which indirectly ask him or are concerned about him, those don't affect you either. So take those verses out as well. Right? Then anything which tells you that you've got to obey the Prophet of Allah, قُلْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهَ فَاتَّبِعُونِي, then follow me, follow my sunnah, right? لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ, etc. I can go on, verse upon verse, practically the whole Quran. You'll end up saying, I can't follow Quran. You have to take everything out. But you'll be shocked that these academics, they feel that, oh no, we can interpret the Quran. I promise you, and I'm no scholar, and I make no bones about the fact that I'm not a scholar. Please don't ever think that, right? To do one tafsir of one verse, scholars, not me, scholars worth their salt, go through about 5, 6, 7 different tafsirs at a time. Right now, as I'm talking to you, I've got 3 tafsirs open, which I'm referencing from, including ahadith, and I'm giving you differing opinions and different perspectives on it. And here people want to take this. Do you know the vast majority of academia and intelligentsia reject shafa'ah, intercession, completely? They've got a problem with the verses of Quran. Why I'm telling you all of this is because the Prophet ﷺ said one of the signs of Qiyamah is that I see people, he said, I see people who will be sitting on couches, and they will hear something that I mentioned and I said, and they will sit in the lofty couch, on the high horses, in the high chairs there. But say, we don't find this in the Holy Quran, and they will reject it. Really? What have people taken the Quran for? What do they think the Quran is? You know what this, and it's a group that's gaining currency and momentum, particularly in Johannesburg, and now seems to be taking root here in Durban. Right? To break the arguments, if anyone wants to come and sit with you to argue, then it's a different story. Right? But it's so ludicrous, it's not, but it's scary because people are being taken aback. You know what they're doing basically? Is that they say, no, look, 1400 years of Islamic academic scholarship, right, which no one can deny in terms of scholarship, we reject it. Right? We've got all the tools here in this day and age in terms of the internet and the Quran and the Arabic language and the dictionaries and this and that thing. Right? We'll reinvent the wheel. We will interpret the Holy Quran to do the same. So I asked him a simple question. I said, tell me something. Imagine if the modern day doctors decided that 1400 years or 2000 years of medicine from Hippocrates and so on there, right, is all bunkum. Right? We're going to reject all of those things there. We just take the canon of medicine, and we take all the new latest books and things and discoveries in modern science there, and we'll reinvent the wheel in terms of treating people. And this is not doctors now, by the way. I'm talking about normal human beings like you and I. You know what? I can see a person conducting an operation on YouTube. I'll do a C-section. I'm not doing something major, like brain surgery. I'll do a C-section. No, why am I watching YouTube? I read the books. I'm intelligent. I've got a degree. I've studied business science. So the question I'm going to put across to everybody is that, sir, would you trust a person who tells you he is intelligent enough because he's got a degree and he's an intellectual or whatever it is there, who's read books on medicine, right, and seen a couple of YouTube videos in terms of symptoms of illnesses, etc. Will you trust that person to even treat a common cold? Or something a little bit more serious? Will you trust him with your life? Why are you trusting these people with your iman? You die, tough. You lose your iman and you're living, you're dead. Please be aware of this. The reason why I'm putting this across is all of these matters here. When I'm quoting things for you, I am very careful, right, in terms of cross-referencing it. Right? And giving you a context in it. And today people just pick up Quran and just want to read. People want to pick up Quran and just want to read. And they want to interpret it the way they wish to, from this secularist background, and modernist background, and progressive background, and etc., etc. Anyone who hears Juma would have heard. Some people, they were honest to themselves. They say, we need to what's the word? Not delete, but we just have to omit a few verses of the Holy Quran because it doesn't really conform to modern day thinking. It doesn't conform to Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It doesn't conform to secular society. It doesn't conform to the nation state concept. It doesn't conform to modernity and post-modernity. I'm very serious about it. These things here will be like hocus pocus to them. What are you people talking about? Right? And they'll study under the light of science and tell you, oh well. So be very careful, be very careful. As I said, so you've got to be able to cross-reference from Quran. You've got to understand the context in the Holy Quran is speaking. The Holy Prophet, and 3/4 of the time you're not going to understand what is going on in the Holy Quran if you don't have the context of the Holy Quran. If that was the case, wherein people could understand the Quran merely by reading it, why did Umm Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala tell the Prophet, but I don't understand. And she needed him to explain. People who knew the Arabic language because it was their mother tongue, who understood the nuances of culture, of the various dialects of the Arabic language, they would ask the Prophet of Allah, but how is this? How is this? How is that? How is this? And here we are. Oh no, let's go interpret Quran. Let's do Quran Tafseer. Why not? Because I know, I read this Tafseer, I read that Tafseer, this is what the Tafseer said, this is what Qurtubi said. Yeah. Great. Please be very careful, okay? Don't you see in which trouble you are? Don't you see what misfortune has overtaken you? Why don't you find one who should intercede to you with your Lord? Some would say to the others, go to Adam alayhi salatu salam. Now imagine, all of humanity, in billions in number, are all proceeding to the father of creation, father of man, Adam alayhi salatu salam, right? And they would go to Adam and say, oh Adam alayhi salatu salam, you are the father of mankind. Allah created thee by his own hand and breathed in thee of his spirit and ordered the angels to prostrate before thee. Intercede for us with thy Lord. Don't you see in what trouble we are? Don't you see what misfortune has overtaken us? Now remember, all of humanity is going to Adam alayhi salatu salam. They're presenting their case before Adam alayhi salatu salam and they're giving him reasons how and why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has honored him. So the procedure of humanity on the day of Qiyamah, they will be interested in nothing else. They will be interested in one thing, and that is shafa'ah. Some of the people have asked, what's the reason that people won't go straight to the Prophet of Allah? Right? Faisal will come and say, oh no, I heard in the Tafseer, Haafiz Fuzail said, Prophet is going to intercede this, or no, if Qiyamah says, hey, stupid people, don't worry, I heard it in the Tafseer there. Right? That the Prophet is going to intercede in the first, why are you wasting time going to otherwise? I'm waiting, when I come to the Prophet of Allah, then I'll go there. Allah will make all of humanity in the state of anxiety, sorrow, and in that state of this, they forget that the Prophet ﷺ is going to be the ultimate intercessor, and there's a wisdom behind it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants all of humanity, from the first human being till the last human being, to know that if there's anybody with any value, if there's anybody with any greatness, if there's anybody with any status, if there is anybody who truly is worthy of being called the greatest created being in the universe and all that exists after Allah as a created being, it is none other than Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The day of Qiyamah, and I'll give that discussion some other time. The day of Qiyamah, the one scholar said it in Urdu very nicely. He said, "Faqat itna sabab hai in iqade bazme mahshar ka." He said, from the looks of it, it seems there's only one reason why this entire event of Qiyamah will take place. Because Allah is quick to judge. Allah knows everything. Like, you, hell, you, heaven. Inna Allah sari'ul hisab. What is the reason? Ke unki shaan mahboobi dikhai jane wali. Because on the day of Qiyamah, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's position as the Nabiullah, as Rasulullah, Nabiyul Anbiya, Rahmatul lil Alameen, Sayyidun Nas, Sayyidu Waladi Adam, etc., etc., all of humanity, those who knew him, those who saw him, those who never saw him, those who rejected him, those who accepted him, those who didn't believe, all of them must stand and accept, yes,